Hi my lovely people, welcome back to another fabulous fragrance video. In this video I'm going to share with you some delicious sweet syrupy honey fragrances from my collection. I did not realize I have quite a few fragrances with a lot of honey in them, so I can't wait to share them with you. If you are a fan of honey in fragrances, even if you're not, you just might become one. Just keep watching. So before we get started with this video, I want to remind you that I have switched my schedule back to the original schedule, which is Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. That's the schedule I've always had from the beginning of my channel. But I wanted to kind of change things up a little bit, test it out to see if a different schedule will work better. But no, the other schedule wasn't as good. You all didn't respond to it as well, and it wasn't as convenient for me. So I have now, after testing, realized my schedule is the best, and I will never, well, never say never, but I don't have any plans to change it again. So remember, it's always gonna be Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So like I said, I have quite a few honey fragrances. When I was pulling fragrances out of my collection for this video, I realized, wow, I have quite a few. I actually thought I may have 5 fragrances, but I have a lot here I want to share with you guys. So I've picked fragrances in which honey is a prominent note, that I can definitely smell the honey. When there's honey in a fragrance, you can smell the honey. You smell the sweetness of honey. You know, there's that particular type of sweetness to honey, and there's the syrupiness that honey adds to fragrances. So right away when you smell, you can smell the honey, whether it's in the opening, middle, or base. You can smell the honey. Honey tends to be quite a note that you can notice really easily because it's very noticeable, right? That's the only way to say it. Honey is usually used to soften floral bouquets in perfumes or bring warmth and an animalic touch to chypre fragrances, you guys. So that's kind of what honey is there for. Honey really brings this warmth to fragrances and adds that animalic touch. It sort of gives this tenacity to fragrances and like a naturalness. You know, it makes it smell natural. Honey is very sweet, very syrupy. I find honey when in floral fragrances to be very beautiful, and in oriental fragrances, I really love honey in oriental fragrances as well. Now there are some note combinations that when combined, they smell like honey, but then there's actual honey, right? So in this video, I'll be highlighting fragrances that actually have honey in it or honeycomb in them. So that's what I'm highlighting, but there are notes that smell like honey, you know, when combined. And there is one particular floral note to me always smells a little bit like honey, which is osmanthus. Osmanthus is kind of a honeyed floral note with a hint of apricot, right? So that kind of, you know, that's a floral note that kind of smells like honey. So yeah, there are other notes, fragrance notes when combined together can smell like honey. But in this video, I'll be focusing on fragrances that actually have honey as a note, honey accord from the honey or honeycomb. So the most obvious honey fragrance in my collection, I have many obvious ones here, but this to me is like honey dripping with honey. Honey all the way through. This honey accord in here is very strong. This is, of course, Royal Crown Ambrosia. You guys, I broke the tip of this beautiful crown cap because I dropped another perfume on it, a heavy one. Gosh, it doesn't usually break that easily. I have to glue it back together. Gosh, the things I do. Anyway, this is so good. This is a very potent, very strong fragrance. I don't have to bring it that close to my nose. Like, I can smell it here, you guys. It's really strong. Do not overspray this one. Oh my gosh. Not a good idea to overspray this one. This one, just like a couple of spritz behind your ears and you're good to go. This one is a gorgeous syrupy honey fragrance for this time of the year, fall time. This is the time I like to pull this one out. I need to, in fact, that reminds me, pull this one out. I've pulled all of my like vanillas and my cherries and everything out, but I haven't pulled out my honeys, so I need to pull them out now. I plan to wear this quite a bit. If you want to smell really sweet, this is the one for you. This is a sweet fragrance. This one's got a ton of honey. It's like it's dripping with honey. This has got dates. It's got toffee, like really gourmet, beautiful gourmet notes like dates, toffee. It's got, you know, of course, the honey, loads of vanilla. This also has a little bit of like olibanum. So it gives it that sort of balsamic vibe to it, the resin vibe. This has got some beautiful juicy fruity notes like juicy plum, there's pomegranate, there's melon, like apple. There's a lot of really juicy fruity notes, especially in the opening. Some delicate florals like iris, which makes it a little powdery, some rose, some really nice woody notes. There's of course sandalwood. In fragrance like this, you have to have sandalwood. There's a little bit of oud as well, so it's a very kind of oriental smelling fragrance. Honey can usually be found a lot in some of the oriental fragrances, so this is one of those kind of examples. Of course, there's musk. Every nice fragrance has musk. This is a very syrupy, strong, potent fragrance that's perfect for the fall. There's this sweetness, like super sweetness and warmth about this fragrance. It's very embracing, very cocooning. It's got a very strong sillage. Projection is very strong too. Royal Crown Ambrosia, one of the strongest, most honey dominant fragrances that I have in my collection. Now, I have a few that I'm gonna put at the end of this video. I'll tell you why I'm putting at the end of this video. They're kind of like honorable mentions, but let me show you another really strongly honey fragrance, kind of oriental. This one is Maison Lancôme Oud Ambrosie. So ambrosia, ambrosie, that means honey. Whenever you see ambrosie, ambrosia, that means there's honey in a fragrance. So this one is a honey oud fragrance as well. Kind of like the Royal Crown, the Ambrosia has oud and honey as well. But this one is stronger in the oud. This one is more oriental smelling. That one has a lot more fruity notes, kind of sweetening it up, softening it up, juicing it up a little bit. Whereas this one is more of a dry, woody, kind of honey fragrance, but the honey adds the syrupiness to it. Like I said, you can find honey in, yes, oriental fragrances like this, but also woody fragrances like this, right? This is a very honey dominant, super syrupy honey, but also kind of dry woody fragrance, because there's loads of woody notes in here, including oud, of course. It's a honey oud fragrance. This has got some rose. Every time there's honey and oud, I feel like rose really kind of complement that kind of fragrance. This has got loads of woody notes outside of oud. There's of course oud, but then there's like cedar and other woody notes too, and a little hint of patchouli, which you can't smell very well at all. It adds probably a tiny touch of earthiness. Very, very honey dominant. Like if you want like super honey fragrance, woody honey fragrance, this is the one for you. I don't like this as much as I like the Royal Crown one, but this is really beautiful, you guys. Very sweet, but it's very oriental. Remember that it's got that sort of Middle Eastern oriental vibe to it because of the oud and the honey combination. But it's a very syrupy, sweet, woody honey fragrance. This is Maison Lancôme Oud Ambrosie. I got another very honey dominant fragrance. This is the one of the most popular honey fragrances, I would say. This is none other than, of course, Jean Paul Gaultier Scandal. This one, you guys, is this syrupy, sexy honey fragrance. The honey in here is very beautiful, very sweet, and it's got a lot of white florals. There's gardenia, orange blossom, jasmine, which honey complements really well. Like I told you, like floral bouquets, you know, honey kind of softens floral bouquets. This has got some amazing citrus notes that really complement the honey, like blood orange and mandarin orange, which I think two perfect sort of citruses to complement something like that. Bergamot would have been too sharp. It would have cut through the honey. It wouldn't have been good. So they're the perfect. There's like some juicy fruity notes like peach in here that really complement the honey as well. So there is beeswax. There's honey, a load of honey in the middle of this fragrance, but there's also beeswax too in the base. So it's a very waxy, syrupy, sexy honey fragrance. I think there's a teeny bit of licorice, which I don't smell at all, and a hint of patchouli, again, don't smell very well. It's mainly what you smell are those beautiful white florals and the bucket of honey, and you can smell a little bit of that beautiful syrupy citruses. You know, mandarin orange to me, like tangerine, mandarin orange, blood orange, tend to be more syrupy side citruses, which complement a note like honey, a syrupy fragrance like this very well. Very beautiful, very sexy. This is evening wear in my opinion, but you know, fall time, you can wear this daytime as well in the colder months. This is one of my favorite fragrances, this and its flanker that I'm about to talk about. One of my favorite ones to bring out in the fall time. This is Scandal by Jean Paul Gaultier. Although they're oldies, they're goodies. I can't believe they're oldies already. They've been around a few years, you know what I mean? And of course, its sister right here has honey as well. This is Scandal by Night. This one is even more of a sexy date night fragrance. This one's beautiful too. Very similar composition, but the difference is this one doesn't have as much honey. Yes, there's quite a bit of honey, but there are other notes that are noticeable too. Like there's cherry in here, which gives it a really nice, interesting twist, if you ask me, and really goes well together with honey. It's a very sweet, syrupy fragrance. Again, got gorgeous citrus notes like bitter orange. There's cherry, like I said. A lot of vanilla in this one, more vanilla than the other one, the original. This has got tonka bean and vanilla, so it's much sexier, the dry down, honestly. Well, there's honey in the opening, not in the middle, so not as much honey in this, like I said. Very sensual sort of dry down with that sandalwood, loads of musk, which makes it sexy. I think there's amberette too. Yeah, very beautiful date night kind of. I mean, you see the dent I've put in both, really. Really love these. One of my go-to date night kind of night out fragrances. This is Scandal by Night. If you ask me which one's better, the original or Scandal by Night, I tend to lean more towards Scandal by Night, but I know a lot of people also like the original. Now I have a very pretty, beautiful, gorgeous fragrance from Kilian that has honey and very syrupy and sweet and sexy. This one is one of my top favorite honey fragrances of all time. Top favorite fragrances of all time. It's actually my top favorite. Is it first or the second favorite Kilian fragrance? And I have a lot of Kilians, by the way. This is Kilian Forbidden Games, you guys. Gosh, I was trying to get a hold of this fragrance for the longest time. It kept selling out. I finally found it. Just bought it, you know, not too long ago. This fall, I'm going to be wearing this a lot. This is actually, to me, a fragrance you can wear all year round. You can wear this in the summertime too, you guys. But because of the honey, I like to wear this also in the fall time, actually. The juicy plum note and everything kind of allows it to be a little bit lighter, and you can wear this in the summertime. But you can very well wear this, you know, in the fall during the day, actually. So this is it has a beautiful juicy fruity opening. It's got a juicy peach note, very juicy plum. I think there's apple too. Juicy fruit notes in the opening, with a hint of like warmth from cinnamon, warm spice. This has got rose and geranium and, you know, jasmine for florals, which I think geranium and rose were a good addition to this fragrance considering the composition. This has got a bucket of honey in the base, a lot of honey with a lot of vanilla, which makes it very delicious. It's got a little hint of papanax, I think, too, which is like a resin balsam note, which gives it a little bit of a balsamic hint. It's a kind of a weird fragrance, right in the kind of middle. You can wear it in the summer or you can wear it in the fall, really. Not so much winter, I would say. Not so much spring either. Like somewhere between summer and fall. Somehow it seemed to work in those two times of the year. You can wear this in spring and winter too, really, an all year round fragrance. I would say daytime fragrance, in my opinion, no matter what season you're wearing, which is funny, right? Like, it doesn't actually choke people in the summertime. It's not that strong, but also it actually works in the colder months too. I mean, it may not project like a beast in the fall time, but still you can wear it like to the office and stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, Kilian Forbidden Dreams, very feminine. This is definitely a feminine fragrance. Very feminine, sweet, soft, beautiful fragrance. I don't know how else to describe it. Kind of fruity as well. Next I have a gorgeous fragrance. It's definitely a summertime fragrance. I would say summer daytime fragrance. One of my all-time favorite fragrances in the world. I am planning to buy the Parfum version of this. I don't know why I didn't already, but I ended up buying like the Eau de Parfum, but the Parfum is much more potent, so probably more worth the money, although they are very similar in price. This is Chanel Beige. This is such a beautiful, soft, feminine, sweet honey fragrance, you guys. This has got frangipani. You guys know my love affair with frangipani. I absolutely love frangipani. It's such a gorgeous yellow floral tropical note that's to die for. This is actually quite strong. You can smell it over here. This has such a beautiful, soft, feminine, sweet, but clean scent about it. It's got frangipani, like I said, loads of honey. It's got some freesia and I think some hawthorn too. It's such a classy, it smells very sophisticated, classy, clean, rich, kind of, you know, luxurious kind of fragrance. It smells expensive. It's a tropical kind of warm weather fragrance, but it smells luxurious and expensive. Very, very classy fragrance. I love, love, love this for summertime. You can wear it to the office, very appropriate even for the office or any occasion during the day. In the warmer months with honey, this is an example of a fragrance that has honey, but you wear it in the warmer months. There are a few of those, but a lot of the times honey tend to be in thicker, more dense fragrances that you wear in the colder months, but not always, not always. Yeah, this is Chanel Beige. So then I have another fragrance, also another example of a fragrance that I would wear in the warmer months during the day, but has honey accord in it. This one is Prada La Femme. You guys, this is one of my most favorite sophisticated, kind of buttoned up fragrances, but yet very pretty fragrances. This is kind of similar to Chanel Beige, but not exactly. They have the same kind of vibe, if you know what I mean. This also has loads of frangipani. Oh, so good, you guys. This fragrance smells divine. I actually, to be honest, forgot about this fragrance during last summer. I have like 400 fragrances, you guys. Sometimes you forget some of your favorites. Like, you know, I need to kind of rearrange my display to kind of maximize visibility. This hid from me this summer. Darn, you know, I love this fragrance. Oh, so beautiful. Very sophisticated, classy, It has even a little bit of a luxurious vibe, although it's a designer fragrance. This has, like I said, frangipani. There's a little bit of tuberose. There's ylang ylang, I think, too. There's magnolia, some beautiful white and yellow florals. It's got, of course, some citrus. I think it has a tiny bit of spice, but I can barely smell any spice if there's any. But this has honeycomb in here, which gives it a nice honey accord. I gotta tell you, yeah, it has that more of the waxy feeling of the honey. So yeah, there's honeycomb, but it's not so syrupy, you know, as you would usually get with honey. But I feel like there might be a little bit of honey in here too, not just beeswax, you know, not just the honeycomb. So yeah, there's definitely beeswax giving that honey accord to this fragrance. Loads of vanilla and a little bit of vetiver, which gives it a nice touch of, you know, like earthiness to it. It's absolutely feminine. This is for women, La Femme. It's a women's fragrance. Very, I say buttoned up, but it's not in any way stuck up. It's very, very feminine, very soft, very elegant. There you go, that's the word. Fragrance that smells absolutely pretty, has that beautiful honey accord to it. This is Prada La Femme, one of my favorites to wear to the office during the summertime, which it hid from me this summer. Yeah, just realized it when I was pulling fragrances out for this video. Then I have this beauty, which is a recent addition to my collection, but I've already put quite the dent into it because I absolutely love it. This one is Libre Le Parfum, the latest flanker in the YSL Libre collection or line. This, you guys, is so gorgeous to me. Yeah, I love Libre Intense very much too. But the thing about this, the difference about this from the other ones in this line is that this is very sweet and syrupy from that honey, you guys. And the other difference I notice is the heightened, gorgeous citruses in here. So there are citruses in the opening. There's like mandarin orange, which is a perfect, juicy, syrupy kind of citrus that goes really well with accords like honey, you know. So the citrus and ginger, there's ginger too in the opening, so there's that zing from it. So that juicy sort of gingery, citrusy opening complements that honey in the base so well in this fragrance. You guys know this is very much a vanilla lavender fragrance, which those notes are there. This is very much vanilla heavy too. Yes, there's lavender, but not as much lavender as the original and the Intense version. Less lavender, but you can smell the coziness and the herbally sexiness of the lavender too. But the thing about this I love is that gorgeous syrupy honey base with the ton of vanilla from the tonka bean and the vanilla. There's tonka bean and vanilla. Tonka bean smells like a deeper version of vanilla, right? So yeah, this has some orange blossom. There's that lavender. Oh, this is absolutely beautiful, you guys. A lot of people say, oh, Libre Le Parfum and the Intense smell the same. No, they don't. Okay, smell again. Maybe clear your nose a little bit. But Intense, yes, it is an intense version, but it doesn't have the citrus, heightened citrus or the honey. I mean, that's a big difference, okay? Yeah, they're not the same. Libre Le Parfum. So next I have a Zara fragrance that is meant for men, but this works really well on women too. Trust me, you guys, it's such a cozy, beautiful, warm fragrances. In fact, one of you, my lovely subscribers, once told me that somebody chased you down Target when you were wearing this fragrance, sniffing you like some guy because it was that good, you know, it was smelling that good to him. So obviously it works on women as well. This is Zara's Rich Warm Addictive from the Tobacco collection. So what I have is the original formulation. I think they reformulated in 2021. I don't know if it's that different. I remember one of you or two of you telling me something about the difference in it, in the two. Now I don't remember. But yeah, this one, the original, which is what I have, is a very super sweet fragrance. By the way, I should have included this in my super sweet fragrances video. This one's very sweet because this has a bucket of honey, you guys. By the way, I've noticed whenever there's tobacco, there are a lot of fragrance compositions, a lot of fragrances with tobacco tends to have honey. For example, the Dior Privé line Tabacolor has tobacco and honey both. I almost bought that, but I didn't. It's like a very unisex one right in the middle. Men and women can wear it kind of like this. This one is super sweet. To me, this smells better on a woman, honestly, and it would smell really nice and warm on a guy too. This has loads of honey. There's that tobacco, which adds this sort of, I don't know, that quality tobacco adds. I don't know how to, not smoky. It's like a, tobacco adds this like, gosh, there's no way to describe it. Have you smelled tobacco before? You know, not the smoking tobacco, before it's smoked, like the actual leaves. That's kind of what it is. And this has got some coconut, which adds a beautiful sort of creamy lactonic touch to it. This has sandalwood, which makes it very sensual in the base, and some other woody notes. I really love this, you guys. I actually love to wear this in the fall time. I like to wear this at nighttime. It's very cozy and enveloping, very kind of cuddly and cozy for nighttime especially. A really beautiful fragrance for fall for men and women both. I have another one like that towards the end of the video. I'll tell you why it's at the end of the video in a second. So now I have more of like the honorable mentions toward the end. All of these ones I would consider honorable mentions for different reasons. Now the first one here is Dior Poison, like the original really oldie one. This one has a little bit of honey, but not too much honey. So that's why it's kind of like an honorable mention, okay? This is a very complicated fragrance composition. This has like ton of, I mean, it would take forever to mention all of them. There's like, you know, tuberose, which is a more of the stronger ones. I can actually smell the honey. It's a little smoky from the incense. This has got florals like jasmine. There's rose and carnation and whole bunch of florals, even heliotrope. I think there's a lot of honey. Actually, it's right in the middle, but this has vanilla and amber too in the base. I take that back. I won't say it doesn't have enough honey. It actually has quite a bit of honey because it's in the middle, but honey is kind of not overpowered. Honey is not allowed to be the strongest accord in here because of all the other fragrance notes in here. It's a very complicated composition. That's why I would say it's not like dripping with honey, but honey is in the middle, so there's quite a bit of honey. It's one of those, you know, 90s fragrances that are super strong, that has sort of like that certain vibe. I don't know how to describe. Many of them had like galbanum. This one doesn't. Galbanum type of like notes. You get the idea, like those super strong like 90s fragrances. That's what this is. The tuberose is very prominent in here. The honey is prominent in here. The smokiness comes through a little bit. It's really like nice and sexy fragrance. Dior Poison. And then I have this one, KLE Invite Only Amber 23. This one has, again, a very complicated fragrance structure. Yeah, there's a lot of sweetness and syrupiness in this fragrance from the honey. I can actually smell the honey quite a bit. I think Fragrantica doesn't rate the honey accord very high, but I disagree. I can smell the honey in this fragrance very strongly. It's very sweet and syrupy from the honey. Honey is what actually saved this fragrance, in my opinion, because this could have gone south really fast, really quickly, because this is like very complicated. There's like chocolate, there's like tobacco, there's, you know, cherry, there's all these notes that have been thrown together. There's like, you know, load of amber because it's an amber dominant fragrance. There's like even like Nargamota, which is like a herbally sexy note. Again, like, I mean, there's chestnuts, no, not chestnuts, hazelnuts in here too. There's like benzoin and vanilla and sandalwood and patchouli and musk. There's ton, like there's rose, there's all these notes in here. But I tell you, I can smell the syrupiness of the honey. It's in the opening of this fragrance, but it kind of stays through really. And it has made this fragrance sweet and saved it, in my opinion, because without the honey, this could have been kind of like really strong and in your face, you know, with all those sort of complicated fragrance notes. I think the honey also complements that nice herbally sexy note in here too, the Nargamota. Now, I'm not as big of a fan of Nargamota as, or cypress oil they call it too, as I am of Davana, but you know, it's also another nice herbal note. Yeah, Kayali Invite Only Amber 23 has quite a bit of honey in it. Then I have a very kind of weird fragrance, to say the least, in my hands. I love this fragrance, but it's not the most feminine fragrance. So there's something about this fragrance that's so cozy, so comforting, so enveloping. I only wear this at nighttime, on nights that I'm in the mood for it. My husband does not like this scent on me, again, because it doesn't smell very feminine, but it smells beautiful. The reason why I want to mention this is because I do like this. It's just not a mainstream kind of fragrance. It's a very kind of particular type of people like who like this kind of fragrance, who would like this. But it's very sweet and very beautiful. It's got quite a bit of tobacco in here too. It's one of the few tobacco fragrances that I actually really like. I tell you though, guys, I know I have many of my subscribers who love this kind of fragrances. So please don't like be taken aback when I say like my husband doesn't like it. I mean, you know, I don't think he likes the tobacco note in it because it's kind of like not very feminine, but it's not very too strong actually. It's kind of sweet, this fragrance. It's Pure Arabian Velvet by Chkoudra Paris. This one, you guys, is a very beautiful, very cozy, comforting tobacco fragrance with a lot of honey. This is very unisex. Women can wear this and men can wear this. Very sweet. It's got like a bucket of honey, and it's got orange blossom. It's got a little bit of spices. It's a little spicy. There's like, I think, a hint of black pepper in here too. And this has got quite a bit of like heliotrope, which is a sort of powdery floral note that some people say has like a cola vibe to it, you know, like has like a cola scent to it. It's very comforting. The actual name is perfect for it. It's like a velvet cloth that embraces you and keeps you warm. You know, it's very velvety. There's something velvety about this fragrance. It's really beautiful. It's very sweet. It's got a load of honey in it and some vanilla too. I believe tonka bean too, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it is very sweet and velvety, but also a little spicy. Very cozy, very comforting, very enveloping. This is Pure Arabian Velvet. I'm putting it in my honorable mentions only because it's one of those fragrances that's not really a mainstream kind of love. Next, I have a honey bucket here. This is like a honey dripping fragrance. This is dripping with honey, okay? And this is kind of like Pure Arabian Velvet. It's kind of like a unisex fragrance, you guys, but leans a little masculine. This one is Killian Back to Black. This one is like dripping with honey, you guys. It's like honey drips off of it, okay? This has got tobacco, just like Pure Arabian Velvet. Load of like a bucket of honey with that tobacco, which makes it very sweet and softens that tobacco. This has got some cherry in it, like a little bit of cherry, lot of vanilla that complements the honey, some juicy fruity notes like raspberry in here too, which is really odd. It actually has like gingerbread, like really nice gourmet notes like gingerbread. By the way, perfect fall fragrance, okay? This is the time to wear this very dark kind of Halloween-y fragrance, you know? This one, there's something gothic about this too, but also very comforting about it. Again, it's got that gingerbread kind of note, and it's got almond, it's got tonka bean, lots of vanilla. It's even got benzoin, so there's tonka bean, benzoin, and vanilla, so it makes it very vanilla heavy, very sweet. It's got some spices like a little hint of like cardamom, you know, like a little spicy hint, which is perfect for this kind of fragrance. There's lots of woody notes like cedar, there's even oak, like, which again makes it, I think, a little masculine. This has a little saffron, you know, a lot of like, it's a very complicated note structure or fragrance composition, but that what you smell the most in this fragrance are those like the sweet notes. There's the honey. You smell the honey. You smell that slight hint of tobacco. You smell the vanilla. You smell a little bit of fruitiness from like raspberry type notes in here. But it's mainly vanilla, honey, and tobacco that you smell. It's very syrupy. It's a very, very syrupy, dense fragrance. Long lasting, very, very much, it'll be there until you shower, even after. Okay, very much unisex, but leans a little bit more masculine, which is why I'm putting this in the honorable mentions, because it's not one of my favorite ones, but I think it's still a very beautiful fragrance. A lot of people really appreciate this one. This is Kilian Back to Black. Last one is an honorable mention because it's been, I think, discontinued. You may be able to still get it. I'll link all of these, of course, down in the description box. You guys go down to my description box always to find the best prices and the discount codes and all that. If I have them, I will link down there. I'll try to find this and link as well. This is Elisab Le Parfum. This one is a white florally honey fragrance. Very sweet, very floral. Beautiful bouquet of white florals, kind of laced with that gorgeous syrupy honey. It's super sweet. It's got beautiful white florals like African orange flower, jasmine. There's, I think, not just white florals, there's rose, I think, too. Loads of honey, like a bucket of honey, which makes it really sweet. I really like this fragrance, actually. Now's the time of the year to wear this. You can actually wear this in the warmer months too, really all year round if you want. But I do like to pull it out around this time of the year. You could wear this summer nights as well. Yeah, some woody notes, like a tiny hint of patchouli. You can't even smell that. Mainly what you smell are basically white florals and honey. Really, let's face it. It's white florals, you smell the white florals, and then you smell the honey, the sweetness and the syrupiness of honey. This is Elisab Le Parfum. Unfortunately, it's been discontinued. I don't know why fragrance houses do that. But anyway, those are all my gorgeous, sweet, delicious, syrupy honey fragrances. What do you think? Do you have some honey fragrances that I don't have in my collection? Let me know down in the comment section your favorite honey fragrances. I always want to hear what you have, your experiences with these fragrances or other ones that you have with you. Share your thoughts, share them with me. I also discover good fragrances from you guys. So yeah, talk to me, people, down there in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do subscribe. Hit that red button right there and click the notification bell right next to it, so you will be actually notified when I upload. Otherwise, you won't be subscribing. It's not enough anymore. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Just started TikTok, support me there as well. Don't forget the channel schedule. The upload schedule is back to the original, which is Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. I will see you guys on Sunday at 9 a.m. I will see you then.